To Padres baseball. Competition is a good thing. A lot of competition in spring training for the Padres this spring. Second base is one we're going to keep an eye on today.
Andy Green loves the competition. He has said many times in spring training, Don, that the competition between players brings out the best in them. And hopefully we're going to see a lot of good things in spring training. And who will be perched at second base? There's a competition at the Keystone. Carlos Asuaje, he showed good range to his right and his left last year. Good work around the second base bag. He brings defense, on-base percentage. Probably he gets the nod there. Now, Cory Spangenberg from the left side. He's got speed, right? He can steal a bag. Slugging potential. I chalk that one up to Cory Spangenberg as well. So they're taking advantage of every rep, every inning, every at-bat. So we take a look at this spring training for Carlos Asuaje. 9 for 27, a cool 333. He did well last year. He said he wants to do better than 270 if given the chance. And then Cory Spangenberg, 5 for 20 this year. But the competition brings out the best. Here's the deal. Here's the sad thing, probably. One of these guys probably going to be in the minor leagues. You just don't want to play the hot hand, have them both on the roster. But the good thing is competition. If one goes down, there's big league experience at second base, whether it's Asuaje or Spangenberg. One of them is going to stick. Let's see who gets the job out of spring training.
Well, today, Cory will be at second base for the Padres. Well, one thing's for sure, during the spring, Padres have been stealing some bases. They've been very aggressive on the bases. Andy Green hopes that continues into the regular season. Bob Scanlon will tell us more when we return after this.
My name is Raul, and I'm 6.
Started, let's send it down to Bob Scanlon.
Thanks, Don. Team speed. There is no substitute. You either have it or you wish that you had it. The good news for the Padres, they have more than most teams, at least according to a recent article that measured the sprint speed of each team's starting lineup and found the Padres had the 4th fastest team in all of Major League Baseball, the 2nd fastest in the National League, right behind the Washington Nationals. Now, how does that play into Andy Green's style of managing? Well, absolutely perfectly. Why? Well, despite having the lowest on-base percentage in the league, the Padres still managed to have the 5th most stolen base attempts in the National League. Here's what Andy expects out of his base runners staying aggressive this spring.
Like in spring, I want to take risks. I want guys to find their limits. So when something happens on the field in spring training and you try double steal and you get thrown out, it doesn't bother me one bit. I kind of like it. I kind of like guys seeing what they can do, where they just messed up the timing, how they can get it better. So when guys get thrown out stealing and they're running, like, you want to have a conversation with them. You want to push the envelope in spring. So I like that, but I like it. Intelligent aggression when the season starts.
Andy Green absolutely expecting his guys to stay aggressive, not necessarily to increase their stolen base percentage, which was a respectable 73% last season, but more importantly, to continue to put pressure on the opposing defense, to try to force errors, to try to force misplays that can make the difference not only in a ball game, but over the course of a season. Well, the Flying Friars are going to take on the White Sox today. It's Cactus League Baseball coming up next, live right here on Fox Sports San Diego.
Veterans working alongside highly touted prospects, leading them in drills and teaching them how to compete at the major league level. Young Padres pitchers no doubt seek the advice from Clayton Richards, whose years of experience have made him a valuable part of the Padres rotation. Coming off a season that saw him throw almost 200 innings, Richard aims to once again be a steady workhorse for the Padres in 2018. He takes the hill today as the Padres face the White Sox. Next on Fox Sports San Diego. Clayton Richards is on the mound today as the Padres are back home after being on the road the last 3 days back here in Cactus League action against the White Sox. And Clayton Richards ready to make the start today for the Padres. We'll check out his scouting report.
For the left-hander, a former White Sox, mind you. Hey, pitching his own game today. The reason why I say that, first outing, he was working on glove side fastballs location. Second time out, working down in the zone, strictly down with all of his pitches. Today, he said, quote, I'm just going to try to get guys out. I'm going to utilize all my stuff. You might see more changeups today from left-hander number 3. We love him, Clayton Richards.
They'll take it on a White Sox lineup today. As we take a look at it, is Ryan Cordell is going to lead it off in center field. Leury Garcia will bat second with Matt Davidson at first base. Patrick Leonard at third. Kevin Smith does the catching with Daniel Palka in right field. Micker Adolfo is the DH with Luis Alexander Basabe in left field. And Jose Rondon bats ninth and plays at shortstop for the White Sox. Cordell stands in on the right side, ready to face Clayton Richards. And the first pitch of this one is going to miss for ball 1. Beautiful conditions. It has definitely warmed up here in the last week. A lot hotter here in the desert than it was the first couple of weeks of spring, and much warmer today. Not a cloud in the sky as we get started.
High of 82 here in Peoria, so doesn't take much to have these players, pitchers in particular, to get lathered up, get good and loose. And you know, one other thing, a little nugget on that scouting report. Opening day question mark for Clayton Richards. The reason.
This one lined opposite field into right field for a base hit, and Cordell aboard to begin the day.
The reason why I mention that is because if you do the math, starting from today on the calendar and you go 5 days, it works out to where opening day against the Brewers, Clayton Richards would be that guy. So it's just a speculation. I know we're not supposed to speculate, but my math tells me that every 5 days from today, the next 3 times around is opening day.
Yeah, that would definitely make sense.
Yeah.
And Clayton Richards ready here to work to Leori Garcia. With Cordell at first base, nobody out here in the first inning, and a quick check low in the dirt, and it'll get away. By Villanueva, and headed to second base is Cordell without a problem. Errant throw from Clayton Richards.
Clayton's usually spot on with that move, one of the best in all of Major League Baseball, and also spot on with the accuracy over to first base. Let's check it out. Oh, he yanked it. He yanked it. Villanueva had his momentum going towards the fair side of first base. Looked like anticipating that throw, and tough to adjust on that one.
So an air charge here to Richard on the throw that allows Cordell to get to second base. On the outside corner, first strike. Cory Garcia, 87 games last year, hitting at .270, 9 homers and 33 runs batted in. And a defensive swing there, and he finds himself down 0-2.
You might see more changeups today. I think that may have been a changeup, or maybe a pitch close enough to try to protect. But Clayton's got a good changeup. Go along with that 2-seamer, 4-seamer, and a slider. Slated to go 4 frames today.
3 last time out. Guys starting to stretch it out here a little bit as we get further into the spring.
You figure for a starter, maybe 30 innings in spring training. For players, maybe 50 ABs to get ready and tee it up for opening day.
Of course, games starting earlier this year than ever before. Less workouts leading up to it. Now Clayton's now 34 years old. In the dirt and gathered by Austin Hedges. No advance at second base for Cordell. Tied for the club lead last year with 32 starts, and that errant throw very odd for Clayton Richards. He had 8 pickoffs in all of baseball. Also induced 377. No, let's try that again. His 377 induced ground balls last year.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That was pretty impressive.
Defense, be ready. Freddy Galvis, shortstop.
Yeah, and you got a good defense behind you now, too.
Very good. We talked about Aswahi at second base in our pregame. Potentially Spangenberg as well. Villanueva over at the other corner today at first.
Chop towards shortstop. Galvis plays the high hop and takes care of Garcia. No advance for Cordell, and there's one down here in the first inning. Let's check out the Padres defensively behind Clayton Richards today. Jose Perella's in left, Franchi Cordero in center, Matt Caesar in right, Chase Headley at third base, Freddy Galvis at short, Cory Spangenberg at second base, Christian Villanueva at first, and Austin Hedges doing the catching today for Clayton Richards. Now Davidson, the batter, first baseman for the White Sox. Strike on the outside corner, and a ball and a strike. Outfield set up straight away. Not much of a breeze today. We've had a lot of wind here, for the most part blowing out in Peoria, but not today. More of a light breeze at the moment. And Davidson, 118 games. A year ago, 26 home runs, 68 RBIs, and a .220 average. That's third today for the White Sox.
A lot of swings and misses out of this guy. Strikes out a lot. He'll put the ball out of the ballpark, and that's okay. If you're going to hit 25, 30, maybe even 40, you know, you'll take the strikeouts. Got him in the Addison Reed trade back in 13. Hey, handful of guys also for these White Sox today with no big league service. So they're getting some time here for Rick Renteria.
That'll miss, and even up at 2-2. Richard trying to work his way around a leadoff single and a miscue that he committed. Going to first base wildly and allowing Cordell to get to second. Rick Renteria, guy who managed the Cubs and the White Sox. How was your time around Rick Renteria?
Loved Rick. Big fan. Great baseball guy. We played against each other actually in the minor leagues. When he was a farmhand for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was a Hawaii Islander. AAA for the Pirates back then.
Ball four, and Richard loses Davidson here. Is headed down to first base. So first walk allowed by Clayton today. 2 on, 1 away, and that'll bring up Patrick Leonard.
Don, there are guys, I'm sure you know a lot of guys in this game of baseball where you know before their first managerial gig, you know that they're going to be a manager someday, and you knew that about Rick. The way he moved up through the Padre chain in the minor leagues and then bench coach and then eventually a managerial job. And there's the resume for Rick.
He was a manager right before Joe Madden came into town from Tampa Bay and ended up being a manager pretty quickly after that again. Patrick Leonard batting here with 2 on for the White Sox in the first inning. 1 away.
Here's one of the kids I was just talking about, Leonard, with no big league service. Non-roster invitee, 25 years old.
131 games last year in AAA.
Well, Clayton Richard on the hill is trying to work down in the zone, trying to get 12 outs today. I think good chance for a double play candidate right here. Get something soft, have the right-hander roll it over, let Freddy Galvis do some work.
A long first inning here for Richard. 17 pitches so far in the first, and ahead here 1-2. Talk about ground balls. Ground ball percentage from last year. Luis Perdomo above him with 62. Marcus Stroman of the Toronto Blue Jays reducing 62.9.
Stroman's hurt right now on the shelf in spring training. Shoulders giving him a little hiccup there. I really like that kid, watching him pitch. So good company, Perdomo and Richard.
On the ground, could be 2. Spangenberg will try to start it. The second for 1, on to first, picked by Villanueva. So Richard does get the double play on the ground ball to get out of the inning unscathed. Sox did not score in the top of the first inning. Padres coming up in the bottom of the first inning. Andy Green will send Cory Spangenberg to second base and lead off here for the Padres in bottom of the first inning. It is Freddy Galvis at shortstop with Franchy Cordero in center field. Chase Headley at third base. Jose Pirela is in left field with Christian Villanueva playing at first base. Austin Hedges doing the catching. Luis Urias, a late addition. He will DH. Fernando Tatis had been slated to be the DH today. And Matt Caesar in right field bats ninth for San Diego. On the mound is Carson Fulmer for the White Sox.
Little big league time in 16 and 17 for Fulmer, the Commodore out of Vanderbilt. 6 foot. It was about 94, 95 on the heater. Threw a curveball and a changeup. Kind of a short armor. But he has a power curveball. Your traditional hard 12-6 curveball.
There are the numbers for him last year. Opponent average just 188.
Yeah, and high on the walks, though. But that is a good little nugget there, 188.
Liner through the right side into right field. A hot shot off the bat of Spangenberg.
Spangy swinging the hot shillelagh there right out of the gate. Utilizing that hard ground here in Arizona. Sometimes, you know, it's early in the game. They wet down the infield, but still, that ground can get hard. This is a hot shot past the second baseman, Garcia. Good swing.
So lead runner on here in the bottom of the first inning for the Padres and brings up Freddy Galvis. Guy who played in every game last year, all 162. 12 homers and 61 runs batted in a season ago. And we talked about it off the top. The battle going on at second base. Spangenberg and Swahe, and Spangenberg with a base hit in his first plate appearance here today.
He's going.
There he goes. Swung on and grounded foul. Little hit and run.
Hey, and don't forget about the Pirela factor as well. We'll get into that. Remember yesterday, Galvis going oppo.
Galvis hit 12 of them last year during the regular season. Spangenberg with a lead again at first base, held on over there by Davidson. Yeah, they check on him. Lead was a little larger that time.
You know, that Jose Pirela factor, the left field, second base, versatile, right? Guy's right-handed, can hit off lefties. He can rake. So that factors into the second base competition, I would say.
Yeah, he's been getting a lot of reps at second base. Left field and second. Fulmer has fallen behind Galvis here, 2-1. Galvis now with Franchy Cordero waiting on deck. Ball 3. We've seen a different philosophy here during the spring so far. A lot of deep counts.
How about some of these scores from the Cactus League? You know, I mentioned before how I think the pitchers are ahead of the hitters early on, but once, you know, about a week maybe, then I kind of think it flip-flops a little bit. You see these ridiculous scores. 12-5, 20-10.
They get the hard infields here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Lots of sunshine again today. Here are the White Sox defensively. Basabe in left, Cordell in center, Palka in right, Leonard at third, Rondon at short, Garcia at second, Davidson at first, and Smith does the catching. Payoff pitch coming here from Carson Fulmer, but first look over and a pretty good move there, but Spangenberg able to dive back.
Yeah, he was spinning his tires over there at first base. See that?
His legs were moving, but nothing was happening.
It was like Fred Flintstone. Remember, like in his car with the feet underneath, they start going, and then he was spinning right there. Got back safely.
Swing and a miss, and Galvis strikes out. First K for Fulmer. Yeah, down on the count, 3-1, but comes back to strike out Galvis.
Just challenging, too. Looked like a fastball away. Straight fastball. Can't catch up.
One out, one on, and we'll bring up Franchy Cordero. $30 games in the big leagues last year. This guy ended up with 21 triples last year between AAA and the majors.
That's amazing, isn't it?
He can fly.
You know, you find a gap, and maybe that ball just takes one little bounce some way to the left or right, and then it just opens up the gate for him to just utilize that speed and turn it on to get 3 bags. Or down the lines. I said this last year, but it's worth mentioning again, I think, that Cordero reminds me of a young Gregory Polanco with the Pirates. His build, I think he's just going to get bigger and stronger.
Mentioned 30 games last year with the Padres. Infield here, a double play depth with 1 down in the first inning. And that's in there for a strike. Right at the knees.
Starting pitching was a not so good last year for the Pale Hose of Chicago. 25th in ERA, 27 in WHIP for the starters. Walks per 9, they were last in baseball. Home runs per 9, they were 29th. So they got some work. It was kind of a rebuild because they had those big trades, remember? Trying to rebuild.
Check over at first base, and Spangenberg back to the bag. Of course, the Padres getting Fernando Tatis Jr. in the James Shields deal.
Yeah, thank you, Rick Hahn.
1-2 pitch coming up here to Cordero. Spangenberg again. The good lead at first. And a grounder up the middle right towards the shortstop Rondon. He'll touch second and throw to first. High throw, but Davidson is tall. And a double play ends the bottom of the first inning. Scoreless after 1.
Back to beautiful Peoria, Arizona, where the Padres and White Sox are tied 0-0 as we head to the top of the second inning. And some moves were made in camp today for the Padres, 9 in all. You see the 2 players that were optioned, 7 reassigned. And of those names, the most interesting probably Tom Wilhelmsen. The reason being he is the only guy that has the option of not accepting that assignment down to AAA guys because of his big league experience. But with the way Robert Stock has been throwing the ball to spring training, Wilhelmsen gets sent down to AAA. The other interesting thing are 2 names that aren't on that list, which are Fernando Tatis Jr. and Luis Urias, the 2 young players going to get some more looks from Andy Green and this big league staff.
Well, then I guess it's that time of the spring, Stan, really, where you start to see dwindling down here at this stage of the spring.
Yeah, it's part of it. It's not the fun part, and it's tough to see guys saying their goodbyes.
And grounder down to third, and Headley's throw is low, but Villanueva with a good pick on the other side. So Kevin Smith retired 5-3.
Yeah, and why not hang on to him for a little longer to see what they can do? They feel comfortable right now in spring training, and give them that exposure, give them that feeling of being in big league camp for a long time. And there's no reason why you need to send them down this early. So keep on seeing what they can do.
Be interesting to see what Tom Wilhelmsen does do, as Scan pointed out.
And that's an interesting thing as well. I think as a pitcher in that situation, and Scan, I'd like your thoughts on this. I think you kind of look at the organization as a whole. What's the bullpen like? What are their needs? Would it be beneficial to me to go down to AAA, and because there's always an injury, or do I test the waters and go out and I'm a free agent now? Maybe there's it's a point in spring training where they're starting to whittle down and make their assignments in the bullpens for teams. So there's a lot of ways to look at it.
But no question about it. And I was actually in his position several times being released late in spring training and having the choice of trying to stick with an organization or looking elsewhere. And you're absolutely right. You've got to look at what else is ahead of you. Where do I realistically stand in their depth chart? And what is the organization trying to do? If it's a team that's trying to go for a World Series and they may want to go with a veteran guy more than the rookies, well, maybe I stick around. If it's an organization that's committed to youth, maybe a tougher decision for him to stick with this ball club when they might go with the younger players. And the other thing to keep in mind also, guys, is there are a bunch of other teams also making their releases right now, and so it is flooded, very difficult to find another organization that might even take you on.
This one chopped up the middle, and Spangenberg throws on the run and in time. A 1-2-3 second, 3 ground ball outs on 6 pitches without a score. Whoa!
It was a little bit strange, you know, when I walked back into that clubhouse and, you know, you start looking around and you don't see a whole lot of familiar faces, and it's only been a few years, but I've had some tremendous times in San Diego. It's, you know, always going to be home for me in baseball, and, you know, I'm looking forward to being back, and obviously I love the city. It's, you know, probably the best city to play in baseball, so, you know, excited to be back and look forward to hopefully creating some more memories.
You know, Chase Headley, who is leading it off here in the second inning for the Padres. 4 seasons in between his stops in San Diego, in New York, with the Yankees, and last year in 147 games had 12 home runs.
He's a pro. I mean, he knows what to do, when to do it, how to present himself. And after seeing Chase in the clubhouse today for the first time since he left, it's like he hasn't even skipped a beat. And what's the saying? If you could do it in New York, you can do it anywhere. If you can do it here, you can do it anywhere. Well, you know, he's passed the test. He wore the pinstripes. He's back in San Diego trying to spread a little bit of knowledge and baseball throughout the clubhouse for the younger guys. I remember Jack McKeon saying once, we acquired Mike Pagliarulo from the Yankees back in like 88 or 89. And Jack was quoted as saying, yeah, after Mike was in New York with the Yankees, now he comes to San Diego. It's like kind of like going through detox from being with the Yankees and all the stuff that goes on there and coming to San Diego.
Now Headley lines out to Davidson at first base for first out here of the second inning, and they'll bring up Jose Perella.
It's like a cleansing.
Yeah, it's a totally different experience. Headley had to probably think after he was acquired by the Padres again that perhaps he maybe flipped before the season would start, but here he is.
And you know what I love about that whole situation is that it was brought to his attention.
Right.
It wasn't like they just swept it under the rug and, hey, we're not going to say anything. No, it was brought to the attention of Chase. Said, hey, this is our intention. Hey, we love having you. If you're around, you're around, but you could be flipped. You're right.
Jose Perella will take the high strike call and sharing time between second base and left field, and today getting the start in left field. Make an argument that he was the most consistent hitter for the Padres last year. Finished up the year hitting at .288, 83 games in the big leagues last year for San Diego. And as the winner of Pick the Stick, that took Jose Perella quite a bit last year.
We're going to start with that again this early? Really?
I just thought I'd mention it.
Have you paid much attention to the gnome?
I have.
Or have you neglected the gnome?
No, the gnome's got lots of attention. We've gone fishing together. We've bronzed. Done lots of stuff.
Cooking?
We've done some cooking.
Well, this is the count you want Jose Perella to be in. Every time he's at the plate, base is empty, but still runners in scoring position. If you could utilize the whole field, 2-1. Not necessarily pull all the time, but take something away and then drive it to right center. And the strike zone just got a little smaller for Jose on that 3-1 pitch, or that 2-1 pitch to go to 3-1. I like his stance. It's a quiet stance. Not a lot of movement.
This ball four, and down to first goes Perella. First walk allowed by Fulmer.
Single game tickets for the 2018 Padres season are now on sale. Grab your tickets early and save up to 20%. That's 20%, Don.
That's a lot.
You know how you get it? Go to Padres.com.
1 out, 1 on here in the second. Brings up Christian Villanueva. He's coming to camp in tremendous shape.
Svelte.
Worked very hard during the offseason.
It's falling off of him. The weight's just falling off.
Some discussion about having him see if he can play shortstop.
Yeah.
And today playing at first base.
And that's another feather in the cap for Andy Green, right? To utilize some. I mean, you want your everyday guy to be, 140 games, right? In like Galvis last year, 162. But if you need to spell a guy, give a guy a day's rest and feel comfortable about sending a guy out there that can do that, absolutely. But he looks good.
And he's in a battle of sorts to third base with Chase Headley.
Yes.
Talked about the second base battle going on, but both Headley and Villanueva in the lineup today, with Villanueva in the other corner at first base. Infield a double play depth with 1 out and 1 on, and there's ball 2, and Fulmer's upset with himself.
And good. Chalk up a visit. That's a visit. You got 5 more. That's a good take. We've seen some good takes this inning. Perella, he had hitters counts, right? 2-1, 3-1, walk. Nicely done. Pass it over to Villanueva. See some pitches. Work Fulmer, maybe get a mistake, and go to Hackett.
Now, are we going to be able to rely on you for the mound visits? Are you going to keep a chart?
Well, if you were on the conference call the other day, you would know that they're going to have on the scoreboard, they're going to have a countdown.
So we don't need you?
No.
I just know you keep a lot of stuff, so I didn't know if you're going to add that to your repertoire.
Stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yes, I understand that there's going to be on the scoreboard a countdown of visits. And that's going to be an interesting subject, too, because it's so subjective as far as what an umpire is going to dictate as what is a visit or not.
We saw an interesting situation with Carlos Asuaje coming in from second base to hand the baseball back to the starting pitcher, and he was charged with a visit. So you have to think about it as an infielder, how close you come proximity-wise to the mound.
Now, let me ask you this. If a catcher wants to give the pitcher just extra time, is he going to, like, tie his shoe or just kind of go out in front of home plate and turn his back to the pitcher and just kind of do some landscaping just to give his pitcher? I guess my point is, how much will it... I guess it's not so much wanting to speed up the game, but just the tempo of the game, to keep it going. Does that make sense?
Sure. There are a lot of catchers in today's game who head out a lot during the course of a game.
I know I'm going back.
Stay away from that.
I know I'm going back in time, but since the White Sox are in town. Remember Carlton Fisk?
Of course.
Oh, my gosh. Not only the visit, but just...
Everything he did was slow.
Just, yes.
Getting into the box, the whole thing.
And even he'd stand up behind
Fisk.
Yeah, Hall of Famer.
Guy.
Yeah. He wouldn't get down into the crouch until like the last minute.
Definitely at his own pace.
Yeah.
Then it was Mike Hargrove getting into the box with all of that. Human rain delay.
Yes.
One out, one on, and being a waiver here. Swings at 3-2 for strike 3. The throw down is going to get away, but be backed up.
Got interference.
Interference and out. We'll end the inning here. This turns out to be a double play. Strike him out, throw him out. The interference. So Smith interfered with. We're scoreless through 2.
Another beautiful day for savings.
And Padres getting ready for the third inning and getting ready for the season is Glenn Hoffman, the great third base coach for the San Diego Padres, and kind enough to join us. How you doing, Glenn?
Oh, great. I love that intro right there.
Well, Hoffy, it's got to be great to be back here in spring training and getting it going again.
I'll tell you what, this year it's another year, and the way the camp has gone, it's been outstanding. With the young talent and everything else we got here, with the veterans, it's meshing pretty good.
Glenn, prior to spring training, some fabulous news for the Hoffman family, and of course I'm referring to your brother. What that meant to you, where were you when the news came down?
I'll tell you, Mud, it was awesome. We were over at Trev's house, 40 family members, and we're waiting on the call, and came, and Trev and Trace and the boys, they seemed really relaxed after it happened, and we all celebrated, and we gave a great, yell and everything else. It was awesome.
Now this one gets down to the right field corner, and heading for second base is Basabe. He will double here to begin things in the third inning. Well, it had to be incredible. Probably should have happened the year before, but nevertheless, going in has got to be incredible for not only Trevor, but the entire family, Glenn.
Oh, it's awesome. You know, to be honored to go into the Hall of Fame, to be on that team. You think about 100 years, over 100 years of baseball, and then your little bro gets in, and we're all there in the family. Just think of all the players and great players that he's going to be with, spending time and just seeing after generations to be able to go to the Hall and see, you know, Trev's plaque up there, and it's going to be awesome.
You're getting emotional.
I am.
It's your brother, and you should.
I want to shout out to him. I know he's watching somewhere at the beach, but my roomie, I miss my roomie here in spring training for the last few days.
That's great. Well, how about this now? Now you fast forward to spring training, the preparation that you had to do with the new players, and what was on the plate for Glenn Hoffman getting ready for this spring training?
Well, not only the players, but we had a couple new coaches. So breaking that in, bringing it all together. But you know what Andy does, what he means to this organization, to this team, he brought everybody together, and you know, with the veteran players we brought in, it's been outstanding. I mean, it's like old school days a little bit, where the veteran guys are actually taking the younger players under their wings and helping them and trying to be one unit. And the thing about it also that you haven't seen in a long time is when spring training here, most of the 60-some guys, at least position players, were all minor leaguers, maybe one or two through the system. So they got the Padre blood in them, and it's outstanding.
I want to ask you about that because I know there have been some lean years here for a while. It is very exciting. You have to be thrilled with the way that this organization is headed right now, the direction they're going in, and seeing all these young guys in spring training.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, you don't really realize it until like actually in spring training when you get in the late innings and the younger guys go against their younger guys, and we're better than those younger guys. And once these guys get a little more experience and stuff, it's going to be fun to watch in San Diego. There's a lot of talent here, and there's a lot more on the way, and that's a tribute to the ownership and to Andy and the staff and the minor leagues.
Glenn, with all your years in a...
Oh, yeah, there's been a few.
Yeah.
Which year you want to talk about?
I want to just ask you a simple question. Are you still learning as a coach?
No doubt about it. I mean, you never stop in this game, and from now with analytics, but also like with Andy, his thoughts on different things, that you put them all together, and if it can help the team win one game, 2 games, that's huge. And then the main thing is getting the guys better. You're seeing an improvement day in and day in spring training that you haven't seen in a long time.
It is fun to watch you coach third base. I have to say, in all the years, I tell you what, I mean, I think of it at the end of the year. How often did I say Glenn Hoffman's name? I think about that. And then you say to yourself, rarely. Why? Because rarely does somebody get thrown out at the plate.
Oh, hey, wait a minute.
It's incredible.
You know, we're quiet. We're like on our own little island over there.
Well, you want
when
that.
it goes good, but when, you know, I hear it over there when it doesn't. But I appreciate that, and I really enjoy it. You know, in all the years, I love it when we have speed, and we got a little bit of speed in those young kids.
And Glenn, you've been with the Padres now since 2006?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes quick.
Yeah, and you know what's great about Glenn also is that we have the luxury, you and I, we travel with the team, we get to talk to coaches, we go to the ballpark early. But, you know, a third base coach, folks, you're just not going down there flashing signs and staying stop or go. Glenn has all these notes in his pocket regarding accuracy, how a guy goes back on a ball.
It's sort of old school with this thing.
Yeah, there you go. Tell us the story. George Costanza's wallet.
Well, this is not a computer.
No,
so
but
they don't think this is an iPad or something like that. It's really old.
You told me the story about that. Tell me the story about that wallet.
Oh, look at it. I even carry $1 in there. No, the story was when I first started coaching, one of the things was to write down basically, you know, when you're out on the field and things like that. So I got one of these, and it's worked, and I think it's the same one after all these years. So if you ever find one of those, it's one of those police ones that you don't want to see, but they pull it out for speeding tickets. And I actually gave it to past trainers here and our trainers now, and it's kind of neat to watch when they pull it out and use it.
Very nice.
What do you have on there, Glenn? You got the throwing arm, speeds, things like that?
Well, little notes. I usually just take out what happens in the game with it. I'll write down little notes pregame and that. But I mean, our analytics and our scouting staff gives us so much information that you have before the arms of the outfielders, of who's hurting, who's not. And it's a big plus.
This one will get away, and to third base goes Basabe.
How about the number change?
You know what? I feel lighter. I think I'm a little quicker over there, running over there, and this and that. But, when Haas came to me for that, it was a no-brainer. He says, hey, he wanted to do it for his teammate and this and that. And, when you've been in the game this long, I've probably got enough for the lottery card to fill it all up with all the numbers of bingos. So it was nice. I had to win it over with a family and things like that, but it's all good.
Now, does 26 have any significance?
It does. It does.
Would you like to share that with us, or is that something personal?
No, definitely. When I first played high school, that was my high school number, and so it was available. And for Solarte, who wore it last year, and it was a no-brainer.
So kind of a double meaning, which is nice.
Yes.
Well, we got action.
We got action. Hey, we practiced that today. And that, if he's out, hey. You know what?
Nice.
That is very good. What a way to end the inning.
Nice job. Appreciate it, Glenn.
All right.
Thanks, Glenn.
Okay.
Scoreless through 2.5. The third inning.
Ground ball, which is key. Now the runner at third base, he makes the commitment. How about the key of throwing a strike to home plate? Off a little bit. So Austin Hedges race it back to the base where the runner came from, and then the quick transfer to second base. Snap tag from Cory Spangenberg to get the out at second base. Perfectly executed. And as Glenn Hoffman said, hey, we worked on that today.
It's a good feeling when it happens in the game.
Yeah.
Austin Hedges leading it off here in the third inning. So that play's going 4-2-5-4. That's a yes?
Yeah. That's exactly what I put down. 4-2.
It sounded different from what you put down. That's why I was going to ask. Yeah.
It's an out. It's a double play. Is that considered a double play?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Hedges ahead here 2-0. 4 home runs during the spring already for Austin. After 18 during the regular season last year. A bit of adjustment in his swing this year. Good approach.
Absolutely. I remember listening to you and Mark Sweeney, and Mark Sweeney was passing along the differences in his swing. Quieter with the head. Not as big of a leg kick. not as much movement with the hands. And when there's fewer moving parts, if your head's moving, you move your head, you're trying to track an object. It's not going to happen. You're not going to have much success. And even a little bit can throw you off.
So less movement.
Less movement, fewer moving parts. Because you can count parts, moving parts.
Two.
Oh. Have you gotten one to the booth yet?
No.
Yeah.
You?
I think it's got to be hit perfectly because that screen from our eye level, it's up, but it's got to be one of those where it's like right over that cable with some serious spin on it, top spin, back towards us to get in here.
Have you had one in here?
I've had one hit the glass above us in the years past.
I know in the radio booth, which is 2 down to our left, there are 2 holes in the wall. So
Here we go.
That one looks like
2 inches from coming right here.
That would have been unbelievable. Wow. That was close.
That was close.
Really close. Wow. Hey.
That was about that far from the cable, and that was hit hot enough to where it had that spin. It might come back and
right off my dome. 2-2. Broken bat grounder squibbed down towards the pitcher, and Fulmer will go to first base to retire Hedges.
Got in the kitchen there, huh?
Yes.
Or was that off the end of the bat? Because that part of the bat looked like it was down towards the cup part end of the bat.
Part of the bat is over by the White Sox side of things. Third base way.
I don't know if he was jammed or if he was too quick to that one to get it off the end. Let's take a look. See if Austin is really... It's amazing how long the pitcher can stand in that position. Yeah, he cued it. I think he cued it off the end of the bat.
So 1 down, Luis Urias, who has had a very good spring and getting a long look here during the spring. Late addition to the starting lineup. 296 last year, Double-A San Antonio. 3 homers, 38 runs batted in. Year-old from Mexico. Non-roster invitee to spring training. Again, last year spending the whole year at Double-A. Led the Texas League in on-base percentage at .398 last year.
And we know, Don, that this Padre organization not afraid to have the guy make that jump from Double-A to the big leagues. Bingo, right now. Got to go.
Swing and a miss on a pitch headed down and away. They'll have to throw him out as a gutaway briefly from Smith. 2 down.
Well, spring training, Chuck, another day off the calendar, but you can plan your trip to spring training in Peoria now. See your 2018 Padres. This year celebrates the team's 25th year in Peoria. I remember the first year. Nothing but tumbleweeds in a ballpark. Grab tickets today at padres.com/springtraining.
It's amazing how much this is built up. This whole area is unbelievable.
Unreal.
There is one of everything in this town. There really is. I mean, every kind of chain restaurant or store, or it's unbelievable. Of course, baseball here every day at Peoria Stadium Sports Complex.
I love coming here.
Mariners playing a lot of night games this spring. That's Caesar. A bit of an elbow problem in the beginning of spring training, but now he's been in games for the last week. And getting the start in right field today. He's been moved around in the outfield and trying to find a spot on the roster. Former Chicago Cub.
He got a nice applause the other day in Mesa when they were playing the Cubs. From the Cub faithful.
Caesar's 28. Born in New Jersey. Resides in New Jersey during the offseason. Padres got him in exchange for right-handed pitcher Justin Hancock, May 8th of 2017. Caesar just kind of chopped at it. It is a foul ball. Catcher Smith grabbing it in foul ground.
Hey, good job by Scott Berry, the home plate umpire. He positioned himself. It's where the ball is touched. After the ball, off the bat, hit the ground, up in the air. He positioned himself. Watch the home plate umpire. Chopped. Look at him line up. Touched foul. Hands up. Let's do it again. That's Scott Berry. Did he get hit in the jaw on the way up? Maybe the catcher, Smith, got him on the way up.
Two. Foul down the right field line, out of play, down by the tarp area. Haven't seen the tarp, and that's a good thing. That's great.
This is on the previous chopper.
Oh, yeah.
Smith's mask.
Face full of mask.
Yeah. Wow. Might leave a mark.
2-2 again. And Caesar straightens it out to deep left field. Wasabi going back at the wall, and that ball is gone. A home run just up over the chain link fence in left field into the bullpen. Matt Caesar is homered and given the Padres a 1-0 lead.
Kind of out in front of that one. Looked like maybe an off-speed pitch of some type. And in the desert air, the wind blowing out a little bit. He went down and got it. Hail Caesar. Padres are on the board.
First Hail Caesar of 2018, I believe. Pitch in the dirt to Cory Spangenberg. Spangenberg with a single in the first inning. And he sends one out towards deep left center field. That ball is back, and that ball is gone. Well, Spangenberg stops at second base, but gets the good news from second base umpire Adrian Johnson. Keep on going. Padres go back-to-back with 2 down here in the 3rd inning.
In our pregame show, we talked about the competition at the keystone position, that being second base. And one of the upsides for Cory Spangenberg is his speed, no doubt, but also the slugging potential. He can put a charge into one every once in a while. Going opposite field here.
3rd time the Padres have gone back-to-back this spring.
That is a fastball middle in, taking it the opposite way. Spangy, as they call him.
So 2 down and 2 runs in here very quickly. Freddy Galvis struck out swinging in the 1st inning. Three strikeouts on the day for Carson Fulmer. What are your impressions of Freddy Galvis so far and watching him during the spring?
Always liked him as a Philadelphia Philly, and I like what he brings. You know, it's not just what the numbers show. I think it's his presence. I think it's his resume at shortstop, playing every game last year. He's one of those guys for me. I'm not even going to. I just like to see Galvis in the lineup, and I don't even worry about what he does, because you know what you're going to get from Freddy Galvis. And as a pitcher, man, I tell you, if you're a ground ball guy, any type of pitcher, you see Freddy Galvis at shortstop. It's going to bring a smile to your face.
Yeah, we're seeing Clayton Richards work today. He's got to be happy with the acquisitions by the Padres during the offseason to certainly better the defense in the infield. That one is off the bag down the right field line, a fair ball. And Galvis will round first and head for second base. Throw goes there, but it'll be cut off. And Freddy Galvis with a 2-out double, third extra base hit in a row for the Padres.
Padres taking some good hacks off of Fulmer. Taking advantage of the fastball, hitting the home run. Caesar looked like an off-speed pitch out in front of it, but spinning on that one was Galvis. And as you mentioned, Don, right off the top of the bag.
So Galvis at second base with 2 away, 2 runs in, and Padres looking for more. Here's Franchy Cordero. Bounced into a 6-3 double play in the first inning.
These are the situations where, for a kid like Cordero, you want to see him come through. 2-out RBI situation. And Fulmer, as a pitcher, you're gonna, you know what? I'm gonna go off speed, and that's exactly what he did right there to get ahead. Franchy is looking to drive in Freddy.
Pitch 55 coming up here for Fulmer, working into his 3rd inning. And a bounce in, nicely blocked by Kevin Smith. Cordero down 1-2.
Hey, if Chase Headley makes it up this inning, are you going to go into your John Sterling?
What was his zone run call for Chase? Do you know?
No. I love listening to John.
He's got one for everybody. I know that. I don't know what Chase was, though.
Oh, Chase, you threw the head on that one. No?
Probably not.
No?
Elevated, and it evens at 2-2.
And of course, Aaron Judge was all rise, right?
Mm-hmm. Saw John in September, last week of the season.
Really?
The game at Yankee Stadium. It's great to see John and Susan.
Love those guys.
Oh, we got one.
Really?
We got it, yeah. We got what it was. You can bank on Chase.
Headley is deadly. Oh, that's funny.
You can bank on Chase. Headley is deadly. It's good stuff.
That's really good.
Two balls, 2 strikes here to Cordero with 2 down in the 3rd. Pickoff play at second. Look out. And Galvis is just back safely.
I always love the pickoff moves, especially spring training. Get used to your middle infielders, the movement, the timing. And a lot of times, even with 2 outs, you know, people always focus on pitcher hitter. Well, sometimes runners, you know, they can get a little lax out there, and it's not going to hurt trying to make a pickoff attempt at second base.
Full count now. Good at bat here for Cordero. He's fouled off some, taken some. Pitch 60 of the afternoon coming up for Carson Fulmer, working here in the 3rd inning. Time called as Fulmer backs out. Now back up on top again, peering into Kevin Smith, his battery mate. He's got the good glasses going out there.
He does.
Are they like yours? Not prescription, just worn for a look, or?
No, mine are subscription.
No, they're not.
They're bifocals.
So subscription?
Yeah.
Like for a magazine?
Just pulled a Norm Crosby.
Your glasses are totally fake.
No, they're not.
It's just all about your look.
No, it's not. I need it for
There's
distance, and then I have bifocals.
I'm not even sure there's glass in them.
There is. See, that's the non-reflective. Sorry about it.
Sorry. Payoff pitch is fouled off.
And these are men's glasses, by the way.
They're not?
They're men's glasses.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Okay. It's all part of the
Here,
brand.
try seriously. Try these on.
I have contacts on already. So
well, then it'll make it even more blurry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you look cool, dude. Look at that. That's awesome. That's a great look.
Yeah, but you know what? That's not prescription. It's like having a pane of glass there.
No.
These are not even real glasses.
Yeah, they are.
And why are they so dark? What's going on?
When the sun comes out. They're those transition ones where you're in the sunlight, it's dark.
First goes Cordero. Good AB right there by Franchi Cordero. Don Cooper, the pitching coach, is headed out there.
So let's see, they got 5 guys on. Is that 5 visits?
No, this is 1.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Well, they got 6 guys. Don Cooper's been with the White Sox a long time. Very well respected in the baseball world.
It's back to the Ozzie Guillen days.
Yes.
Bummery is warming in the pen right now.
30 seasons with the White Sox and 15 full seasons as pitching coach for Don Cooper.
One thing he did for a number of years with his starting pitchers was to get them to all work quickly. It was during the Mark Burley stage. It was unbelievable.
Clayton Richards was part of that.
Yeah.
I remember Clayton talking about Don Cooper and preaching that. You bet.
So 2 down, runners at first and second. Chase Hudley with a chance here to do some damage. Hudley will take strike 1. Lined out sharply. First time up to Matt Davidson at first base. 0 for 1 in the ballgame.
We got to ask Chase, you know, if he's with the club, to share some John Sterling stories and some Susan stories.
Throw down to second base, and the throw's going to hit Galvis in the back. On his way back to second base, got hit in the numbers, it looked like. It might have been a little lower. Snap throw down there by Kevin Smith. One pitch. Missed down and in. 2-1. Chase Headley, 12 homers, 61 runs driven in last year, and a .273 average. And it worked out to be his final season with the Yankees. 4 seasons in between stints with the Padres. Skies went out to right field as Palka moves over, the right fielder, and backpedals to make the catch that ends the inning. But a good inning for the Padres. They go back-to-back. Matt Caesar first taken out of the yard. Cory Spangenberg would follow it up with a home run of his own. Back-to-back they go. 2-0 Padres at the end of 3.
Thanks to the back-to-back home runs by Matt Caesar and Cory Spangenberg. Clayton Richards out for his 4th inning of work, guys. And one thing to keep an eye on, he is making an adjustment in terms of where he stands on the rubber. Traditionally, he's been on the first base side, but you'll notice against the right-handers today, he's more towards the third base side, trying to give himself a little bit more angle. We'll see if it's more effective against right-handers. One of the changes that Clayton Richards is trying to do to make himself even better than he was last year.
Good stuff, Bob. And that's one thing that I wish I could change. If I can go back in time, rather than being just set, because I used to go from the center of the pitcher's plate, right? I'd move all over the place. I'd move first base to third base. Bob, how about you?
You know, I was mostly a third base guy because I wanted to create that angle against the right-handers. But for a couple of years, I tried going to the first base side. I honestly didn't notice much of a difference for myself, so I went back to the third base. But I know it was very effective and something that a lot of guys have used to create different angles.
A strikeout here and a throw out as he got briefly away from Hedges. So the strikeout is the first of the day for Clayton Richards.
And he is cruising along. He feels free and easy out there, making good pitches. 2 strikes out of the zone, and also tip your cap to Austin Hedges for smothering that one.
So you think it would have made a difference if you'd moved from first base to third base, moved around?
Probably not.
Like to have tried it, though.
We'd like to try to see if there's any results, because like Bob said, you know, even though it might not seem like a big difference, but there's you're talking angles, not only for your fastball, but also your breaking ball as well.
And one down here in the 4th inning. Matt Davidson, the hitter.
I remember my high school coach telling me this when we were talking about angles. If there's a right-handed hitter, if you could go anywhere on the field in fair territory and pitch that guy, where would you want to go? You'd want to move over towards the third base side as much as you could, right?
Right.
And same for a left-handed hitter. You want to move over as close as the first base line. So how do you do that? You get to the farthest point on the rubber, whatever side the hitter's on, and then you try to create that angle.
What's amazing, though, Mud, isn't it? Just making those subtle little changes actually does feel completely different to you on the mound sometimes.
Absolutely.
It doesn't seem like it'd be that big a deal, but you have a different landing spot, you have a different direction, a different line, and everything just looks kind of different, so not as easy a change as you might think.
Scan, I'm thinking he'd mess the whole thing up. That's just you'd be hitting guys, throwing to the backstop, because there's been a whole new look for you. You can't do that.
Sure you could.
Sometimes simpler is better. Is that what you're trying to say, Don?
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
I think we're so set on, okay, we made it to the big leagues, right? Because we've been doing a certain way. And guys are stubborn to where they don't want to change.
Sure. This is what worked for me to get here.
Right.
But that's exactly one of the things that I've been so impressed about with the return of Clayton Richards. He is not the same Clayton Richards that was here several years ago. And the fact that he is at this point in his career and still willing to try new things, I know one of the big things he's done differently is his workout routine. And so he's much more into flexibility than he used to be, and he's able to share these new experiences with these young players, and not just the different experiences, but again, his willingness to try different things. I think you're absolutely right, Mark. It's very important to keep your mind open.
Well, very well could be the opening day starter for the Padres. It's lining up that way. Just relinquished his 2nd walk of the day, and both free passes have been handed to Matt Davidson, the first baseman. Is that first down with 1 down here in the top of the 4th inning?
You know, speaking of the rotation, and his name has been thrown around, I'm really looking forward to see Brian Mitchell pitch. Acquired from the Yankees with Chase Headley. There's speculation that he's going to be in the rotation. That's one of the new guys, the new names. Darren Balsley, the pitching coach right there, is excited to see in a Padre uniform.
There's a strike, 3-1, as Clayton had gotten down 3-0. There's a ground ball to second base. Spangenberg flips to second for 1, on to first for 2. Second double play turned today by the Padres, as Richard getting more ground ball outs. 2-0 Padres.
Get used to looking down and seeing Padres across your chest.
It might take a day or two, but I tell you what, once I get used to it, there's no looking back from that point on. I'm really excited, obviously, to actually get out here and get on the field with some of these guys was a lot of fun for me today.
I'll look forward to that tomorrow. The preview show will be coming up after the ball game tomorrow. Of course, Dick Enberg's Celebration of Life will be at 10 a.m. at Petco Park and live here on Fox Sports San Diego, followed by our game here tomorrow in Peoria, the Indians and the Padres, followed by that Padres season preview. All coming up on a busy day on Fox Sports San Diego tomorrow. On to the bottom of the fourth inning we go, and Jose Pirela leads it off here against the new pitcher, Aaron Bummer, into the game now for the White Sox.
This guy just brought things down. Thanks a lot. This guy's a bummer. 30 games with the White Sox last year. 22 innings, so a specialist from the left side. Kind of a herky-jerky delivery there.
Takes over for Carson Fulmer, who went 3 innings, giving up 4 hits. The back-to-back home runs to Caesar and Spangenberg, so 2 runs. Walked 2, struck out 3. And strike 3 called, even though it wasn't caught by Kevin Smith. Pirela is down by way of the K. First out here of the 4th inning.
Hey, Bummer's got to be excited to be here in Arizona for spring training. He graduated from Sunrise Mountain High School right here in Peoria, Arizona.
24-year-old.
He's a Cornhusker, went to Nebraska.
Dealing with Christian Villanueva. Gets his second plate appearance of the day. Villanueva struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. This one lying down the left field line sharply but foul. We have a fracture of the bat, so he'll need a new one. And limited time last year, of course, for Villanueva, called up at the end of the year and played the last 12 games of the season, primarily every day at third base to wrap up the year, giving the Padres an opportunity to see him work at the major league level last year. And he's come into spring training in terrific shape and vying for a spot again. Fouls this one back and is down 1-2.
Only 32 at bats, but still a .344 average, 4 home runs.
Swing and a miss, off balance cut there, and Villanueva strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Aaron Bummer, 2 down.
Now, pitchers know that guys are looking for one thing. They can turn on the fastball, and it looks like Bummer throws a breaking ball in the dirt with 2 strikes. Let's see if this is a breaking ball. Yes, it is. Downboard to the back foot there, and it's a Bummer for Villanueva.
2 down for Austin Hedges. And chop one off the plate, foul over by the White Sox dugout. Hedges first time up, grounded one back to the mound. It was fielded by Carson Fulmer, the starter today for the White Sox.
How's your stay been?
It's been very good.
Over here in the desert.
Very nice. A little chilly the first couple of days that we were here.
Yes, I was.
It was cold in the beginning.
It was. No, I know you set up stakes here for a long time.
Yes.
You kind of make your
5
home.
weeks.
Yeah. You know, you do your own cooking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm quite impressed.
Thanks.
I hear you botched some salmon the other day.
Yes, I did badly last night. It was basically raw. The inside.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nah, well, it wasn't fresh. Could have been previously frozen.
Like week-old salmon.
So the outside was really burned and the inside was raw. Not good.
Yeah.
It was epic fail. 2-2. And Hedges strikes out. Pretty impressive inning for Aaron Bummer. He strikes out Barella, Villanueva, and Hedges. Padres have a 2-0 lead.
Your friend
We head to the top of the 5th inning, and what a day for Clayton Richards. Ground ball after ground ball, 3 double plays. It looked like Vinton Clayton Richards ready to go for the start of the season, and we are joined right now by today's starter. Clayton, congratulations. Looks so good out there. How'd it feel?
Thank you. The results were probably a little bit better than I felt, but it was a good day of work. Was able to get what I needed to in, so we'll go work on what we need to from here.
Now, Clayton, I know that you talked a little bit about some of the changes that you've been making this spring training, and one of them was your position on the mound. We saw you closer to the third base side against the right-handers. How's that working out for you?
It's going well. It's a different look, and it's a different feel for myself, so we'll see how batters react to it and how that plays out this spring, but so far I think it's going to work out.
As far as other changes, I know that you mentioned a little bit of adjustment on the changeup grip as well. Have you had a chance to incorporate that much so far?
Yes, I've been throwing it quite a bit, trying to get a consistent feeling with it. Today it was hit and miss a little bit more than I'd like, but it's good feedback. So we'll go into the side in a couple of days, and there'll be a heavy emphasis on that.
You know, another heavy emphasis, as you mentioned, on the ground balls today. That's how you work. How exciting is it for you to know that you've got this defense behind you this season?
It's terrific. It's so much fun. There's such a feeling of relief when the guy puts the ball on the ground, where in certain situations you don't have that relief. You have a tension of worried about if guys will make the play, but with this defense, it's just as soon as the guy puts the ball on the ground, it's like a feeling of relief. And that's quite an awesome feeling.
Does that actually make you feel even more confident staying down in the zone and pitching aggressively down there?
Without a doubt, and that's team ball, and that's how it should be played. You have 100% confidence in your teammates, and they're going to pick you up.
Strikeouts are fascist, right?
I'd still take them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, Clayton, last thing for you. You have always been innovative in terms of changing your routines, working on new things in spring training, even as a veteran player. That's sort of been a development for you. And is that something that you can share with some of the younger pitchers as well in terms of, hey, don't get stuck in your ways, be open to change?
Without a doubt, because the game's always changing. And if you're not changing and trying to improve, it's going to pass you up and you're going to be left behind. So if you think you're good today, it doesn't matter for tomorrow. And you have to continually work to improve. And if you're not doing that, you're going to be left behind.
Clayton, thanks for the time. Great job today.
Thank you.
Clayton Richards getting it done, guys. The ground ball's working. Back up to you.
Yeah, it is, Ken. Thanks very much. A couple double plays today, turn. And a nice 4-inning effort today for Clayton Richards. Feeling good about that?
When he is on his game, it's fun for everybody. Defense is on their toes.
Couple of walks. He allowed 2 hits, single and a double.
And he works quickly, which
yes,
we all
does. Like. 0-2 to Palka. That'll miss up top. Joey Lucchese into the game now for the Padres.
Now you've got a big, tall left-hander who's herky-jerky. He's slated to go 3 frames this afternoon. The 2-seamer, the curveball, and a changeup. His changeup actually has some curveball slider action to it. And Doug Bachler, the bullpen coach, calls it the churve. Because it's a change-up grip, but it acts like a curveball. Churve.
I don't know that I've seen one like that before.
Have not either.
Have we seen it yet?
That last pitch may have been one. It was in the dirt. Don't know if that was a curveball or a changeup. Yeah, that was a spike curve. That one hurts. Looks like it got Austin on the right hand. It looks like the hockey's. Look at the cage on the hockey up top. It looks like it's got the extended part. That looks like it's new this year.
That top part.
And it's got the springs also by the temple area there to absorb the shock when the ball hits the cage. Yeah. Didn't Austin go to the traditional mask last year? I don't know. We'd have to look. I think, yeah. We'd have to look at that.
Popped up foul off to the left. Let's check back in with Scan.
You know, guys, you're talking about the mask. You're absolutely right. Last year, Austin was wearing the goalie-style mask for his entire career until he kept getting hit off the mask, and he finally decided to go with a new mask. It was a classic style, as you mentioned, but it had those springs in it. You can see it on the side. And so he wanted to get back to wearing a goalie style, but with those springs that would help absorb some of the impact on foul balls, and this is the new product. He's giving it a run.
Chopped right side, shift in play here. And that is out number 2. Chase Headley from third base coming over into the shift to help out.
Now, how do you score that on your card?
I go 5-3.
Okay.
Which doesn't help me much because I really don't know when I go back to look at it that it was on the right side of the infield.
Okay, you know what I do? I circle all my outs.
Okay.
So I put 5-3 with a circle, and then I'll put a little dash up on the right-hand corner to where Headley made the play, indicating that the shift was on. And Chase made the play over there by the second base area.
Why is a circle necessary?
I circle my outs so I can just quickly say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and see how many outs there are in the inning. You just see the circle, you know it's an out.
2 down here in the 5th.
Nice talking to you.
It seems like overkill, like too much. You
Really?
5-3, that kind of explains itself. Self-explanatory.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not an out until you circle it.
Correct.
0-2 to Adolfo. A little bit high, and it's 1-2. You have an incredible urge to reach across to my scorecard to circle my outs, but we don't have the line up in the booth yet until we get home to Petco Park. Swing and a miss.
Nice.
Kazu's first strikeout of the day is a 1-2-3 5th inning. Halfway through, 2-0 San Diego.
this year marks the 20th anniversary of that magical season back in 1998 when the Padres won the National League Championship. Joined the Padres in a celebration of the 98 team during the 4-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals, May 10th to 13th. Each game features a commemorative bobblehead, all-fan giveaway presented by Sequan Casino. And they're going to be some of your favorites: Tony Gwynn, Trevor Hoffman, Ken Caminetti, Greg Vaughn. Grab your tickets for the weekend at Padres.com. Who doesn't love a bobblehead?
Joakim Soria into the game for the White Sox. Their third arm used today.
Sorry about it. 59 games last year for the right-hander. Respectable ERA at 3.7. A little high on the walks, though.
He's now 33 years of age. And first pitch to Luis Urias, getting his second plate appearance of the day. Struck out swinging in the third inning. And Soria, one time the Kansas City Royals closer. And 42 saves for the Royals back in 2008.
Gosh, it was that long ago, because I remember that transition was going on where he was named the guy.
Better than 40 saves twice for the Kansas City Royals. On the ground to third base, Patrick Leonard throws on the run and in time.
Good traditional 12-6 curveball from Soria.
After leaving Kansas City, he was in Texas, Detroit, Pittsburgh, and then back to Kansas City the last 2 seasons. One out in the 5th, and brings up Matt Caesar. Hit a home run in the 3rd. Caesar got in 104 games last year for the Padres. That number surprised me a little bit, looking it up before the game.
Yeah, remember a lot of those were late inning defensive replacements, right? Maybe a pinch hitting role, but I remember he would go out to the outfield and finish a game.
Trying to bunt his way on, fouls it off down the third base line.
Hey, surprised me. Not a bad idea, right?
Deep at third was Patrick Leonard. Certainly surprised him. He's headed back there again, especially with 2 strikes now on Caesar. Five in a row retired by White Sox pitching. Aaron Bummer was very impressive in the 4th inning. Struck out the side in order. 6 strikeouts on the day for White Sox pitching.
Okay, I'm going fashion police here with the White Sox uniform. I'm not happy about it. What do you see wrong with the jersey for the White Sox?
The hat logo is different than the jersey logo.
They've got
the old school.
They've got 2 generations of Sox logos.
Yeah.
The old school logo on the sleeve, and then the early 80s, late 70s logo on the chest.
Right. I like that one.
Yeah, that one's unique. And then the one on the left sleeve is the old traditional Sox, you know.
Right. What about the hat, though? The hat's different than both of them.
Yeah, it doesn't have the socks underneath it. It's just the hitter.
To short. Rondon with a tough hop's got to get it there in a hurry, and he just does. Bang bang play at first. Caesar get down the line very well, but he is out number 2 here in the 5th inning.
I think Rondon maybe got caught in between at first. Hey, do I charge it and try to get it on the big hop, maybe a shorter hop? Then it's an in-between hop. And I'll tell you what, that is quite a reaction. That is quite a play. He's got to come to his left a little bit, charges it. Okay, now it's the hop. Wow. And then Matt Caesar's got really good speed. Just got him. That's a nice play.
So 2 down here in the 5th inning, and here's Cory Spangenberg. He's had a nice day today. Single to right field in the 1st inning, then a solo home run in the 3rd.
Rondon was a Padre. He was with the Angels in the Houston Street deal that sent Houston to the Angels. Rondon was a Padre briefly in 2016.
Sliced foul to the screen, and it's 0-2. Rondon got into 8 games with the Padres in 2016. I was here. I don't remember that.
Really? Doesn't surprise me.
He's going to miss inside. I was here in 2016. I'm smart. Who said I wasn't smart?
Not like dumb, like people think. I'm smart, and I want respect.
1-2. Line to right field, and the third hit of the day for Cory Spangenberg. Having quite a day today. And the 2 singles and a home run. That's a day for Spangenberg. Quite a day.
Fastball down, if taken a ball. And very quick, even with the shift on, playing him to pull, dumps that one in between the outfielder and the infielder. Nicely done. Nice day at the plate for Cory Spangenberg.
Story Ruiz is going to run at first base for Spangenberg. And Freddy Galvis. Galvis struck out swinging in the first inning, doubled in the third inning to right field. Breaking ball fouled off, and now Galvis down 0-2. Galvis, 28 years old, from Venezuela. Working at the big leagues with the Phillies in 2012. 6 years with Philadelphia. Runner goes, pitch in the dirt, and Smith didn't locate it right away. A stolen base for Ruiz.
Let's check it out. Straight steal, flash look, slide just to play it safe, pop-up slide at that. Nicely done. Another 2-out RBI situation right here for Galvis.
Pops it up down the third baseline towards foul ground and the seats, and that'll get out of play.
By the way, remember we were talking about Austin Hedges' mask last half inning?
Yes.
Well, Zach Nelson, he runs the minor league side here in Peoria. Great egg, Zach.
He's the best.
Oh, he's awesome. It's a company called Force 3, and Austin, of course, wearing it. But all the minor leaguers are going to be wearing that because they want to try to prevent head injuries. So all the minor league catchers will be wearing that mask. Thank you, Zach.
There's a ground ball right at Rondon. The shortstop around the bag at second, fires to first to end the inning. The Padres leave a base runner at second, but have a 2-0 lead through 5.
The life of Dick Enberg, of course, who passed away right before Christmas this last offseason. Tomorrow at Petco Park, and we'll have it for you live on Fox Sports San Diego at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And I know, Mud, you are headed back to be a part of that ceremony tomorrow.
I am. And, you know, just looking at that right there, it's really hard to see that the professor's no longer with us. It really is. At the time it happened, gosh, he was still involved in a lot of things. He was happy. I remember him just, you know, going on walks and would talk to him and text back and forth, and then all of a sudden it's just hard to see that and then to realize he's not here anymore. So tomorrow we invite all, open to the public, 10 o'clock a.m. at Petco Park tomorrow to celebrate the life of the professor as we dearly knew him, Dick Enberg.
He just started doing podcasts during the off season.
Yeah.
And some very big people joined him.
Yes, finished his book as well, being Ted Williams, his boyhood idol, and idol till the day he passed, really.
Sabi strikes out. Lucchese struck out Adolfo to end the fifth. Opens the sixth with a strikeout of Sabi. One down here in the sixth inning, and Lucchese so far looking very good.
I think with that delivery of Lucchese's, that changeups are really going to come into play, because you see a lot of kneecaps and elbows coming at you. And you know, he's got a firm fastball, and then you pull the string, and it can really throw a hitter out of whack.
6'5", 24-year-old from Newark, California. Fourth-round pick in 2016. And named the Padres minor league pitcher of the year after he combined to go 11-7 with a 2.20 earned run average. 23 starts between Lake Elsinore and AA San Antonio. Drops in there for a strike, 1-1.
As I mentioned earlier, Lucchese scheduled to go 3, and then Hand for an inning and Makita for an inning.
Media Guide has his nickname. You know what it is?
Boots?
Joey Fuego.
I like that. I like that.
Joey
That's
Fuego.
good.
Yeah.
You know why I said boots, right?
No.
Lucchese is a maker of cowboy boots.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Two to Rondon with one out here in the sixth inning.
That looked like a changeup.
You're right. A lot of knees and elbows he features there at you. Line and caught at shortstop by Urias. Who took over at shortstop defensively had been the DH. So Galvis out of the game. Urias now at short, and Asturi Ruiz stays in the game after pinch running for Cory Spangenberg. With more on Joey Fuego, let's check in with Bob Scanlon.
Well, not only the great nickname, but you guys have already talked about the curve, that changeup that he gets a lot of swings and misses on. He also has a changeup that he throws in the zone, guys, to try to get contact. So 2 different types of changeups, and not bad for a kid that wasn't even drafted his junior year out of Southeast Missouri. The scouts completely ignored him. It really made him mad. He said, you know what, I came back with a vengeance my senior year, and boy, have things worked out for him.
As you mentioned, a 4th-round pick, 2016 by the Padres. The 0-1 is in the air to right field, struck pretty well. Caesar going back, still going. He'll leap and make the catch. Onto the warning track for Matt Caesar. That ball carried a little better than I think he thought it would. Ends up having to make a great grab out there in right field to end the inning. Matt Caesar
makes the catch. Padres have a 2-0 lead after 5.5.
Does this
Sox in large part because of this. The opposite field home run by Cory Spangenberg. It was back-to-backs by Matt Caesar to lead things off. Then Cory going oppo. And we're joined right now by Cory Spangenberg. Cory, congratulations on a great day today. Not only the home run, but a couple of singles to go with it. And I got to ask you about the home run. It looked like you were as surprised as anybody else that it went out. Did you pull up at second base thinking you had a double?
Yeah, you know, when I hit the ball, I just put my head down and run and try to get as far as I can. So pulled it in second because people stopped moving. Wasn't sure where the ball was at.
Hey, that's a nice surprise, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it was very nice.
Hey, Cory, how's the wrist feeling? I know you missed a little bit of time early in spring training.
It's great. It's good to go. It's 100%.
And you start off DHing a little bit. Good to see you back out in the field there. So it's not affecting you at all at this point?
No, we just tape it up a little bit, and it's good to go.
Cory, as far as preparing for this offseason, I know that you were probably in your mind thinking, hey, third base is the primary spot where I'm going to spend most of the time. Chase Headley trade happens. What's going through your mind at that point in terms of your job on this team and how to readjust?
I mean, just called Green up and asked him what was going on and told me to start taking reps at second, and that was about it.
So you had to give Andy a call and say, is it time to switch over and go to second?
Yeah.
Are you still taking some reps over at third also?
No, not really. You know, I'll hop over there once in a while. I think I played third for a few innings in Scottsdale yesterday, but that's been it so far.
As far as the competition for second base goes, there's nothing new to you. You've competed for positions before. Does that help you a little bit in this competition going on right now?
I think so, just because I've been there and done that. You know, I have a little experience with it, and it's really just competing with yourself.
That's what it really comes down to, isn't it? Just doing the best that you can at what you have control of?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Hey, congratulations, by the way. Got married during the off season. You're a married man now. Everything go well with the wedding?
Yeah, it was very good. No hiccups, so that was a nice surprise.
That's always nice when she actually shows up, right? She's walking down the aisle and no last-minute changes?
Yeah, that was the best surprise of it all.
Good honeymoon?
Yeah, great honeymoon.
Where'd you guys go?
We went to Barbados.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Some fun in the sun?
Yeah, it was. It was a good last break before the season started.
Exactly. Nice way to get you prepped and ready to go.
Yep, absolutely.
Cory, congratulations on a great day. Thanks for the time and good luck in spring.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, Cory Spangenberg getting it done, guys. 3 hits a day, including the opposite field home run. He's looking good. Guys, back over to you.
All right, Scan, thanks very much. Nice day today for Cory Spangenberg.
Barbados.
I've never been to Barbados. You? Mm-mm. Chase Headley pops it up foul, back and in front of us.
Why go to Barbados when there's Alpine?
Right. You had some snow there recently, didn't you?
Hail. No snow.
No snow?
Snow up in Descanso in Hopatool.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Chase Headley 0 for 2 today is lined out to first and flied out to right.
I think it's always a good day for a guy like Chase Headley to get swings from both sides of the plate, now facing the lefty.
Liner fair down the right field line into the right field corner. Headley's thinking too as Palka's throw will go to second base off the mark and into second with a one-out double is Chase Headley. First hit of the day, and it's an extra base hit for Chase Headley.
Well, it looks like Ross wanted to try to bury something in, and Chase very quick. Get out of there. And with the first baseman off the bag, even without the blazing speed of Chase Headley, he cruises into second base. He slides in for a double, and it looks like there's going to be a pinch runner for Chase.
Travis Jankowski pinch running at second base. So Headley coming out of the game, going 1 for 3 today with that double. Foul off to the right out of play off the bat of Jose Pirela. 6 hits today for the Padres. 4 of them have been extra base hits.
Some good at-bats, even the walks. Good plate appearances, taking some bad pitches, passing it along to the next guy.
Runner goes and Jankowski throw to third, and Jankowski will be out. Good throw down there from Smith. Kind of blocked there by the right-handed hitting Jose Pirela, but no problem in getting Jankowski.
Yeah, even with the front door closed with that right-handed hitter. Quick footwork by the catcher, Kevin Smith. That drop step back behind the runner from the ear to get Jankowski.
We talked about it off the top. This team is going to be aggressive base running. As Pirela swings over the top of that.
Andy Green said he loves the aggressiveness.
Wants to carry it into the regular season. They've been doing it all spring, trying to push it. To the backstop, and it's 2-2.
What do you know about Robbie Ross?
Former member of the Red Sox.
Oh, yeah.
Last couple of years.
That's
coming
where
out
I
of the
remember
pen.
the name. Yes. Yeah.
Working here with 2 down, was able to strike out Cordero to begin the inning. Caught stealing of the pinch runner Travis Jankowski after the double by Headley. Now a swing and a miss for Pirela, and a good inning for Robbie Ross Jr. Strikes out 2. Head to the 7th, 2-0 Padres.
Anxiety of, are you going to make it or you're not going to make it? When that phone rang, it was something.
That'll be part of the season preview tomorrow after the ball game here in Peoria. The Padres take on the Indians, and then the season preview, all of that taking place after the 10 a.m. Dick Enberg Celebration of Life at Petco Park. And again, it is open to the public, so you can go tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. to be a part of that. As first pitch of the inning is swung on and missed here. Yuri Garcia batting for the third time today. 0 for 2. He's grounded out to short and struck out swinging. Joey Lucchesi into the game here, into his third inning of relief, and has looked pretty good. Fouled off to the right, out of play. Season high last year in strikeouts. 12 strikeouts back on June 4th at Stockton. That's when he was with Lake Elsinore. 0-2 to Garcia. Elevated, and Garcia did not chase.
He wanted to. Good pitch selection, though, up around the bill of the cap. That's where you want to miss.
Well, great pitching today by Clayton Richards and Joey Lucchesi. Only 2 hits allowed by the Padres pitching staff. This one fouled back to the screen again. Lake Elsinore and San Antonio last year. 1.79 ERA in 10 starts at Double-A. Spikes that one. And evens the count here at 2-2.
Hey, wasn't this one of the Garcias when they had the 3 Garcia outfield last year for the White Sox?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty amazing if you think about it. Isn't it?
It is. Makes you think of the days of the Alou brothers.
Yes. Matty, Felipe, and
Jesus. Right?
Jesus.
Small chop towards third base. Arias just into the game. Has it go under the glove. So Arias goes out to grab it. And reaching at first base to begin things here in the 7th inning is Garcia. Looks like he'll have a pinch runner for Garcia. That'll be the day for him. And Danny Mendick will come into the game. Joe, lead runner on here for the White Sox. They ruled a base hit under the glove of Arias at third base. Matt Davidson has walked twice today. Both times was against Clayton Richards. Takes the strike at the knees. So Danny Mendick has taken over at first base, pinch running for Leury Garcia.
You know, there was a 4th Alou brother. Felipe, Jesus, Matty, and Boog. Boogaloo. You've never heard that? That's been a baseball joke for years.
0-2.
Boogaloo.
Swung on and missed.
You never heard that story?
No.
I heard that one back when I was like a rookie from like Bob Miller, the late Bob Miller, my pitching coach. Pitched in the big leagues for like 22 seasons. We were talking baseball one day. Hey, you remember, just Giants, because they were the Giants, right? Oh, yeah, Jesus, Felipe, Matty. And then all of a sudden he said, I'm a 17-year-old. Hey, there was a 4th Alou brother. I said, what? There was? He goes, yeah, Boog. And all of a sudden I put 2 and 2 together. I go, oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's been a baseball joke for years. Hey, welcome to the club.
Was it funny then? Or?
Oh, it was very funny. It's been around for years.
One out Mendick at first base, and Patrick Leonard 0 for 2. Got it into 2 double plays today. And both against Clayton Richards. 4-6-3 in the first, 4-6-3 in the fourth inning. Pitch coming here to Patrick Leonard. Well, first to check it first on Mendick, back to the bag. Three and 0. I can't believe you wrote on my scorecard.
You finally found it.
Yeah, I see my numbers. My outs are now circled for the last 2 innings. Ball 4. And down to first base goes Leonard. 2 on with 1 away. I want to remind you, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the San Diego Padres and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated. Disseminated without the written consent of the San Diego Padres.
Nice try.
It was fine. Until you drew attention to something you heard. You misheard.
I think there's an unwritten rule to where you can't laugh during the copyright.
Cannot be disseminated without the written consent.
Express written. They omitted a word.
Yeah, there's one missing.
Right. A little carrot and then express.
Fly ball. Foul down the left field line. Hit a ton, but foul. That Skoll pinch runs at first base. I want to thank Jason Lewis, our producer, for allowing me to read the copyright.
That's fine.
No, it's not. The 0-1.
You know what I like about Lucchesi? I mean, you know, it's almost strikeout per innings pitched when you talk about his minor league days. In fact, total more strikeouts, but last year just a little bit under, but not a lot of walks.
In his minor league career, 204 strikeouts to 38 walks.
Well, that's pretty darn good.
I'll tell you what's good. His ERA in Double-A last year in 10 games, a 1.79. And his overall ERA in the minor leagues, under 2, 1.99. Swing and a miss.
There's that curve.
It was nasty. Smith strikes out on it. Second strikeout of the inning. And the fourth of the outing for Lucchesi.
Straight over the top. Nice smother, keeping the runners at first and second. I think he's got a good presence on the mound too, right? He carries himself very, very well.
Daniel Palka 0 for 2. He's grounded out to third base twice in the game.
We don't have radar guns in spring training, do we?
There was on the scoreboard at one point.
Was there? Because I don't see a gun.
It's up there right now. That last pitch was 90.
Really?
Yep. See where the lineup is?
Yes.
See where Lucchesi is? There's a miles per hour right after his name.
Thank you.
Yep. Glad I could help out.
I did not see that. 79 off speed pitch. All right, great. Yeah. Nice pickup, Donnie. Thank you.
No problem.
Glad I got these glasses on.
That's why I'm here. Yeah, that's why you got the fake glasses.
Yeah.
The subscription ones.
Yeah.
Mile high into shallow right field. Ruiz out. In comes Caesar. And Caesar a little stagger at the end, but he'll make the catch. Ends the inning. 3 very good innings for Lucchesi. 2-0 Padres.
Inning here in Peoria, and we were talking before the ball game about team speed. Well, here's a little look at some of the fastest teams in Major League Baseball. You see it right there, and the Padres ranking 5th right now. The fastest runner on the Padres, Manny Margot, according to StatCast, that measures the sprint speed of each player. Going against the White Sox, another quick team. Yohan Moncada, the fastest player on the White Sox club. But what's interesting, guys, is that the Padres are ranked in the top of team speed, and that's without even taking into account some of the other speed demons they have, such as Travis Jankowski, Franchy Cordero. So even more speed on the way for the Padres. And the Padres were 5th in the National League last year in stolen base attempts. We'll see if they continue to be aggressive. It looks like they will be, guys.
All right, Scan, there's a fly ball to left field off the bat of Villanueva. I want to ask you, Scan, about we were talking about that off the top today in the open part of our broadcast, and it is something that Andy Green's a pretty aggressive manager when it comes to base stealing, especially if he's got those kinds of guys on his roster. It seems like we may see them force the issue.
No question about it. And again, I look at that number 5 ranking, and that's considering that they had probably the fewest opportunities in all of Major League Baseball if you just look at on-base percentage. So Andy has been very vocal with his players, and something that has been a directive with all of his coaches. In fact, just the other day, we were watching some guys get leads off first base, and the coaches had some pictures taken of those guys taking leads off first that they could show them later and say, look, we need to do a little bit better job of this. We can get a little bit bigger lead. We can do some things. So it's constant fine-tuning, and they are not taking anything for granted. And it's the other side of the ball as well, guys. It's not just the stolen base side. If you're a pitcher, Mud, how nice is it to know that anything hit in the air is going to have a tough time finding a safe place to land out there?
Smile on my face.
Amen.
Good jump on the ball. And you know what, also, we've touched about it many times, but if a guy makes a mistake, right? Mistake on the ball, he's got that speed to catch up and then make the catch. So that's a feather in the cap of the defender as well.
Man, it's also, if I got this right, Scans, not only just stealing bases and being aggressive, but first to third is a big thing, too.
No question about it. Like, it's not just the stolen base percentage. And the Padres had a 73% stolen base percentage last year, which is pretty darn good. They figure 75 is, you know, at the tipping point at where, hey, it's really makes sense for you to try to do it. So it's not about the stolen base percentage. It's about continuing to put pressure on the opposing defense. Force them to overrun the ball, force them to overthrow, force them to make errors and misplays, which of course can make the difference in the course of a game and over the long haul, hopefully a season.
Well, walk here for Austin Hedges with one down in the 7th inning, and pinch hitter here is Alan Craig. Actually, Alan Craig is pinch running at first base.
And Urias is batting for himself. He had taken over at shortstop, so DH spot no longer. And his third at bat of the day for Urias. He struck out and grounded out. So Craig at first base, bench running for Austin Hedges. A pitcher for the White Sox, Hector Santiago. Took over for Robbie Ross, who went an inning, giving up a hit. No runs, struck out 2, didn't walk anybody. Hector Santiago, 30 years old, from Newark, New Jersey. Back with the White Sox again, where his major league career started. It's down the right field line. Polo towards the line, is under it, and makes the catch for out number 2. Well, it's time now for the Bill Howe plays of the game. And back-to-back home runs for the Padres. Matt Caesar in the 3rd inning with 2 down. His goes to left. And then Cory Spangenberg out towards left center field. And the 385 marker into the berm. Back-to-back for the Padres in the 3rd inning. The 2 runs today. San Diego on top 2-0, batting in the home half of the 7th inning. To this point, a well-played ball game today. Well pitched, both sides.
Absolutely. Good defense, grounders, moving along quickly.
Very impressive 4 innings from Clayton Richards, the starter today, and Joey Lucchesi with 3 shutout innings.
Only 4 walks combined, 2 by each starter. You know, earlier we were talking about speed. Bob Scanlon was talking about speed. You know, they're measuring by feet per second nowadays. Do you know? Are you familiar with this? Franchi Cordero, for instance, and this is really amazing. 29.6 feet per second when he's in a sprint. You know what Billy Hamilton is? 30.1. Wow. Okay, now to put that in perspective and quantify that, Usain Bolt, 37 feet per second.
That's unbelievable. Well, he is Usain Bolt after
right,
all.
But still, isn't that amazing?
Yeah. What do you think you are?
You got a sundial? Time me with a calendar. When are we going to have our sprint?
Sometime. Been talking about it for 3 years.
Our race. Usain Bolt has reached up to 37 feet per second in his first 40 meters.
That's covering some ground in a hurry.
Wow.
Ball 4, and Caesar works a walk. Let's check back in with Scan.
Bud, correct me if I'm wrong, but do I recall that you actually did have a race against somebody in spring training 4 or 5 years ago, and I saw you limping around the clubhouse for a while?
Yes, you did.
Really?
Dave Roberts and I. It all started in the clubhouse. Trevor Hoffman was there. Mark Loretta was there. Dave Roberts just posed the question, hey, guys, what do you think I could do the 40 in? And so there was some discussion. So I said, hey, Dave, I'll be your rabbit. I'll go next to you because, you know, it's easy to compete, right? It's nice to have somebody to race against. So we went on field number 1. Brad Ausmus had the hat up. Go. Bang. Off. And, you know, I was like maybe a stride behind Dave Roberts.
Come on.
I was feeling pretty good about myself.
Wow.
For how long? The first 5 feet?
Yeah, and so then I felt pretty good about myself. So I said, hey, let's do it again. Did it again. You know what? I think one more time I'll be good to go.
Did you blow out?
Bang. I go, right? Right in the middle. There goes a quad. There goes a hammy. Bang, bang. I saw stars.
Did you go down?
No, I did not go down.
Popped up in foul ground. That'll get back and out of play.
It was so painful. I literally saw stars.
And it was all because you did it a 3rd time. You really pushed it.
And thinking back on it, I'm glad I did not blow out an Achilles.
You're very
Think
lucky.
about it, because somebody was standing behind me. I forgot who it was. You know how they put their foot so you can like get a starter's block?
Yeah.
And it's a short spurt, right? And I just am so thankful that I didn't blow out an Achilles.
That would have been very, very painful.
Mud, did you bruise?
I did. Yes, I did. My left quad and my right hammy. It was so painful.
Check swing grounded down the first baseline. Santiago will apply the tag on the way by. That will end the inning. The Padres strand a pair. To the 8th we go. 2-0 San Diego.
The White Sox 2-0, and new for the 2018 season at Petco Park, the Terrace VIP Box is the latest luxury seating option. Relax in your private space with fully cushioned seats, and don't miss a minute of the action with in-seat service. Don, they'll bring stuff to you. Located behind home plate, these are available for nightly rentals or for season ticket membership. For more information, go to Padres.com/premium. A great way to take in a ball game.
Did you do a game from back there one year? You guys?
We did it from the on-deck circle, just in the visiting. Dick and I.
Yeah.
The that little, just off the visiting on-deck circle at Petco.
So it hasn't been done, is what you're saying?
From that spot I just read, no.
Okay, so I think we should do that this year.
I think that'd be great.
That'd be awesome. Get food delivered to you. Sit in a cushioned seat.
Yeah.
Brad Hand into the game here for the Padres. Third pitcher used today for Andy Green.
Pretty much know what you're going to get from Brad Hand. He's going to pump the strike zone. He's got that funky delivery, the funky follow through. Great numbers last year. All-star. Inked a multi-year deal, and hopefully he's in a Padre uniform for quite a while.
Appeared to be headed somewhere at the trade deadline last year, and then maybe in the offseason again, right up until signing that deal. Great to have him back again this year. I always thought these type situations in spring training would be very difficult. You know better than I. But as a closer here, trying to replicate that adrenaline coming into a spring training situation, I would think very difficult to do.
You can't feel the electricity right now?
No. No, I cannot. I would find this very hard.
That's where mental toughness comes into play. And
knocked down by Ruiz, and reaching at first base would be Adolfo.
And as closers or pitchers in general would tell you, in a full stadium of 50,000 people, right, how they block it out and they just focus in. Well, it's the same thing in this situation, right? You got to block it out, that there's fewer fans. It's a cactus game, but it's still 60 feet 6 inches. Still got to throw your pitches, make your pitches to the catcher's glove. So from that aspect, being loud and noisy, many people, you have to focus in and be mentally tough the opposite way.
Still have to clear the mechanism.
Oh, yeah.
Runner at first here, nobody out. Alex Call will take a strike. Call took over in left field. And bats for the first time.
All right, Billy Chappell.
Call a third-round pick in 2016 for the White Sox. Clear the Mechanism.
Oh, please.
One of the great baseball movies of all time.
Sure.
For love of the game.
Oh, it was good. It was good.
Yeah. Not quite as good as Fever Pitch, but good.
Clear the Mechanism, really?
Yeah. Very believable. Clear the Mechanism. Drowned out all the
How
sound.
about just getting out?
He got everybody out.
I know he did.
Line to right field. Boykin in right will make the catch on the liner that kind of hooked on him. Nice play out there. As it turned out, he was coming in and changed direction, but he changed direction with it.
That's a very nice play because this ball is slicing off the right-handed bat. Watch Boykin goes to his right. Now he's got to regroup. Go to his left because of the slice, because of the ball off the bat, that spin. And that's what being a great athlete is all about, being able to make that change. To squeeze it for the out.
Okay, why don't you
as far as Michael Jackson said, he even said it himself, make that change.
Why don't you tell us who's up?
Yason Irizarry.
Okay. Irizarry standing in on the right side. Are you sure?
Positive.
You feel good about it?
Yeah. He's from Paravia, DR, Dominican Republic.
It is spelled Y-R-R-I-Z-A-R-R-I. It's one foul back above us. There you go. That's what it looks like. I was not sure.
Irizarry? Is that what I said?
I think so. They have shorted him an R. He has 2 R's. So they've actually spelled it incorrectly on the scoreboard. And with a runner at first and 1 out. In the air to center field, Jankowski starting in. And Travis will take care of out number 2. Let's check back in with Bob.
You know, guys, you were talking earlier about the challenges for a closer getting ready for the start of the season. And when I was closing with the Cubs and the Brewers, what I did is first early in spring training is I would come in the 5th or 6th inning to try to make sure that I actually was facing some major league quality batters. And then as spring training went a little bit deeper, I would transition into pitching in that 9th inning to simulate being paced out and sitting there for 9 innings, you know, to get that timing down in terms of when in the game you're coming in. So it is challenging, though, because, as you said, there is no way to actually duplicate that same adrenaline rush.
I would think it'd be very tough. Yeah. I don't know anything about closing. I did not close for the Brewers or the Cubs. I haven't closed for anybody.
Well, I didn't do it for very long either, guys. So. But that was my brief foray with it. But it was interesting how you try to take different tactics to prepare yourself facing quality hitters, but also getting yourself used to being up late in the game.
And in 1992 with the Cubs, Bob Scallon saved 14 games for the Cubs.
Until I hung a slider to Darren Jackson with the Padres, hit a grand slam off me, and that was the end of my closing career.
You had a nice year that year, Scan. 2.89 ERA in 69 games.
Thank you. I tricked them for a little while until they figured me out.
Very nice.
Yeah. But it's funny. Some of the home runs that stand out in my mind are actually against the Padres. That one to DJ, and then later on, Greg Vaughn got me in the big year when he had 50.
Yeah, he got a lot of people that year.
You weren't alone.
1998.
That's true.
Adam Engel batting here against Brad Hand.
Mud, did you ever close?
Briefly, and I lost that very quickly. And I'll tell you when it was. When I was traded from the Padres to the Braves, they needed a closer, and I came in a game and blew the lead. And Bobby Cox said, "No more of that guy."
Don't tell me you had a 3-run lead with 2 outs and nobody on, and you spit it up.
I just I forgot what it was, a 1 or 2 run lead, and just
it was gone quickly.
Yeah, it just things didn't work out. And I have to say, he made the right decision.
Hey, for anybody that thinks that closers should not be in the Hall of Fame, until you've stood on that mound in the ninth to get those final three, it's a different beast, isn't it, Mud?
I concur. Absolutely.
I think that's what's so impressive about Brad Hand as well, is that not everybody can make that transition back and forth, and Andy's going to actually use him both as a closer and more of as a fireman in different parts of the game. Not easy to do.
There's a ground ball to third base. Arias will go to second base for the out. That ends the inning. A force out at second base. To the last of the eighth we go. 2-0 San Diego.
Opening day is almost here, folks. Thursday, March 29th, 1:10, first pitch against the Brewers. All fans in attendance will receive an opening day hat presented by our friends at Sequan Casino. Get your tickets today at Padres.com before it sells out. Got to have your Padre hat for opening day.
Rafi Lopez leads it off here for the Padres in the bottom of the eighth inning. Former Toronto Blue Jay, Rafi Lopez. Batting in the 2 spot in the Padres order. Freddy Galvis was there earlier, and he doubled in the third inning, a 1-for-3 day. 24 games last year with the Blue Jays. 4 homers for Lopez, who takes a strike over the inside corner.
Backup catcher is going to be an interesting little battle as well, right? When we look at it.
A.J. Ellis.
Big fan of A.J. Ellis.
Love A.J. Ellis. We had him on our last broadcast.
That's right. That was great. That was great.
You enjoyed it?
He was really good.
Strike 3, Lopez strikes out to begin the bottom of the 8th inning. Gabriel Arias coming up here. Last season in rookie ball and an A ball, 53 games, hit a .265. There are some very young Padres in camp. Gabriel is 18 years old.
Gosh, he's a senior in high school, right?
Yes. Fly ball down the right field line as Gillespie tries to make the basket catch down the right field line and does. Nice play. With his back to the plate, about 2/3 of the way down the right field line. Nice catch.
Beautiful. Flash look. Tarp is there. That's the advantage of using that big first baseman's glove as well. Nice play by the left-handed first baseman.
So We're 2 down here in the 8th inning. Brings up Travis Jankowski. First time he has batted today. He pinch ran for Chase Headley, who doubled in the 6th inning, and then Jankowski was thrown out trying to steal a base. Tried to steal third and was gunned down by Kevin Smith. Your thoughts on Joey Lucchesi today? Very good.
I liked him, and we talked about his minor league numbers. He looks like he's got a purpose out there, good presence on the mound, like he belongs, not timid by any means. Gets the ball, works quickly. Made short work of the White Sox this afternoon.
Jankowski's retired, and the Padres are down in order in the 8th. 2-0 San Diego. So Hiso Mikita into the game for the Padres, and he has pitched a few times during the spring, and Andy Green wants to keep him away from the National League West during spring training, so nobody has a chance to see him. Of course, signed by the Padres in the offseason, and the Sidewinder is going to be fun to watch.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to seeing Tone the Slab. 7 years with the Cebu Lions in the Japanese Professional League.
He's 33 years old.
In those 7 years, 921 innings pitched. Fewer hits than innings pitched at 875.
He's an all-star 4 times in Japan. In the last 2 years out of the pen.
And I've always loved a team that has a different look. Coming from down under like that. It's not something you see every day. And there could be key situations, you know, whether it's the 6th inning, 8th inning. You've got multiple runners on, and you've got a guy up at the plate that Andy Green knows the numbers, or he's got a good feeling to where the release point from Mikita could get a grounder or maybe a strikeout. Here's your guy.
He was closing games for Japan in the World Baseball Classic in 2013 and 2017.
So that's another, I think, addition for a ball club. You know, you have your set closer, but are there other guys in the pen that in a pinch you can close out a game? And that's nice to have. A guy with experience.
Popped up, foul ground. Lopez discards the mask and makes the catch. Had to get out of the way of the bat. 1 down as we check back in with Bob Scanlon.
Guys, it was interesting talking to Mikita about pitching here in the United States. There's 2 big differences. First of all, the mounds in Japan are very soft. They're very sandy. And he says there's one mound in Japan that's similar to the mounds here, a little bit firmer. So he was trying to go back to his experiences on that hill to get used to pitching on these new firmer mounds here in the States. But the other thing is the ball is much slicker here, he said. And for 2 reasons. First of all, the mud that they use in Japan is very different. And also, he said the seams on the ball are different. In Japan, they're much more consistent. They're thinner, and thus they feel a little bit higher. So he's trying to get used to that as well.
Interesting. It's an adjustment.
Absolutely.
Sure, I mean, after so many years, yeah, you're 7 years in the professional leagues over in Japan, and then you have to come over here and make that adjustment. You bet.
It surprised me that he said that the seams were much more consistently wound in Japan.
That was 56 miles an hour, that pitch. Whatever that was.
The crowd loved it.
The 1-2. Take a look at that 56-mile-an-hour pitch. It kind of floats up there.
Yeah, the old frisbee.
That was the one that got a lot of swings and misses in the live BPs and had everybody laughing.
Nasty. Blows him away there.
Gas at 81.
81, but it looks much faster than that after looking at a 56-mile-an-hour pitch.
And up the ladder a little bit as well.
First strikeout for Makita.
You know, even the pitch prior to that one, it was a purpose pitch. It was up and in a little bit, and he hit his spot. That was nice to see.
So 2 down in the inning on a foul out and a strikeout, and there's strike 1. Strike 2. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, you bet.
Ahead 0-2.
Well, the last sign given by Lopez was a changeup. Well, let's see a wiggle. Let's see what he does here. Okay, was that a 2?
In the air to shallow left, and that's going to drop for a base hit. In front of Shane Peterson out there in left field. Just a bloop.
56.
So Kevin Smith, who has played the entire game, coming up here for the White Sox. Got to be patient and wait on that. Kevin Smith played the entire game, 0 for 3 today. Swinging a miss and taking second base uncontested. On the defensive indifference is Skoll. Two runs, 6 hits, an error for the Padres. No runs, 5 hits, and no errors for the White Sox. White Sox today. Cleveland Indians will be here tomorrow. All the action right here on Fox Sports San Diego. That one hits him. So down to first goes Kevin Smith, and all of a sudden now the White Sox have 2 on. Pinch runner at first base. Jacob May pinch runs at first. Tito Polo took over in right field.
Tito. Tito. Tito.
This one is fouled back to our right.
Tito.
Polo. We're not in a pool. We're in a booth. Polo from Colombia. Swing and a miss, elevated.
Don, you're right. When you throw that breaking ball, and then you throw the 80-mile-an-hour cheese, it's by you.
There's a 30-mile-an-hour difference.
I know. So you talk about setting up the fastball. You flip one up there, even if it's a ball, right? And then you throw that fastball by him at 80, 81.
2 on, 2 down, and an 0-2 pitch. In the air, foul off to the right, out of play.
Tito.
0-2 pitch. One of the hands and foul back to the screen. Well, pitch ball game today by the Padres. Clayton Richards, 4 shutout innings. Joey Lucchesi, 3 shutout innings. Brad Hand an inning, and Makita here battling with 2 outs and 2 on. Throwing a base hit and hitting a batter.
High fastball right here will get him.
And a swing and a miss. Nicely called. 81-mile-an-hour fastball would get it done and end the ball game. Very well pitched today by the Padres as they shut out the Chicago White Sox 2-0. We'll come back and wrap it up from Peoria after this.